watching Miami go for the three right away. Just attack the basket. James catches, puts up the three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Boom shakalaka!
Yes, welcome back. You're watching the Inside NBA2K show where we talk all things ANZPL. I'm the SC Brain, and as always, the big horse Mickey Dell is with me. Big week of playoffs to talk through, mate.
Yeah, there is, isn't there? There are a couple of surprise teams, I guess, that made the finals, but we're into week one, or just finished week one, with not so much surprising results, but this next round, week two, that we'll get into towards the back end of this episode is where it's really going to start getting edgy for some teams.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty to talk about. Obviously, the matchups this week were crackers as well, so we'll go through all of those. But of course, today's show is brought to you by Ryan from Astute Newstead and the team at the Standard Squeeze. Now, on today's show, we're going to talk through all of those results from week one of the playoffs in the ANZPL. We're going to go through each series. So normally when we go through games, we've got tons of series to get through. This time we've only got 8, so we're going to feature all of the scorecards in this one. We're going to go through them in a bit more depth. We're going to go through all the box scores and a pretty deep analysis on the games, how all teams finished as well. We'll start with, I guess, the end of week three's ladder, we'll call it, to go through the 16 teams that made it and obviously all of that kind of stuff. And then we'll preview week 2 of the finals like you just mentioned. We'll give our maybe spicy predictions on maybe how we think the results are going to go in week 2 of the playoffs, which would be cool. But Mick, lastly, before we move on, let's give Junkie a shout out. Junkie's badge grinding services, and I think we're all at a point now where how long's the game been out now? Like
A couple
close
months.
to 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many builds you made?
Too many.
Are you not saying that because your missus might be watching?
Yes.
Yeah, good. I think there's a good 6 or 7 in my list at the moment. But you know, for me, I'm not a guy that likes to grind builds too much. I do love to play on different builds, but if you're very similar to me and you don't have the patience to go and grind your own builds, Junkie will do it for you. Whether it's overall that you want increased or you want your badges maxed or specific badges done, he's got you covered. So make sure to mention Insight when you hit up Junkie. That's JXNKIEE on X. Send him a message, mention us, and he'll give you 20% off. So pretty sweet gig, and he does a killer job.
He does.
Mate, let's move. We'll share screen very quickly, and we'll talk about what got us here. The standings come the end of week 3, mate. So season 8, obviously we're in right now, the end of week 3. This is basically where we ended before the playoffs began. The Eastern Conference, mate, we've got 8 teams going through here to the playoffs that we'll talk about soon. Talk us through this.
Yeah, so we'll go from Group A in the Eastern Conference to start with. We've got No Way Out that finished 2 games clear on top. New Era against all odds and God's plan. So quite clearly top 4 teams from Group A. Everything to gain, nothing special. A pretty nice series in season 1 of this game, but they'll be hoping for a better result next season and to make playoffs. Payday J, unfortunately, has deleted the game and isn't responding to too much on Twitter. So if anyone can shout him out and just let him know that we have noticed and that the PlayStation guys got the better of him at the end of the day, I'm happy for him to bounce back and prove us otherwise if he'd like to come back. But for now, the PlayStation guys are 1-0 up. Group B in the Eastern Conference, Exy, Phantom, both clear on top, 17 and 18 wins between them. The Clinic and SubZero. SubZero have done well to make finals here. Huffy leading them over at SubZero. Panic Room, Crayons, good teams. Unfortunate that they didn't make playoffs. If they were in other conferences, potentially they would have, but this is probably the pick of the conferences for me, and not much else to see from Group B there. When we're talking Western Conference, the Goons, Lost Cause, Ruthless, Sans Dior, all within 1 or 2 games of each other at the top. Quite clearly the top 4 teams in Group A. Over time, pretty unlucky to miss finals there, but they did a pretty good job this season. Over in Group B in Western Conference, we've got Team Lockup, who did not lose a game during the home and away series. So you'd think that they'd be red hot, raging favourites for the title, but we'll see how this goes in the weeks to come. Dinosaurs finished the season well. The Villains and Insurgents round that out. Thanos squad unlucky to miss out on finals. Same amount of wins, better percentage, but they lost more games and more series went to 3 games on their end. So unfortunately, they were the unlucky ones. MILF Hunters unlucky as well with 10 wins to not make finals, but hopefully they keep their squad together because I reckon they're pretty primed to make some finals in the coming seasons.
There were 3 groups there that you mentioned that the top 4 was pretty clear, wasn't it? There was probably at least a 2 to 3 win gap between 4th and 5th. But Group B in the West here, you talked Insurgents and Thanos squad, very close. Thanos squad nearly scraping through there, but hopefully we'll see them in the playoffs next season.
Yeah, for sure. And even Miami's Malice in the Palace, like they played some good series and got some good wins throughout the season to finish on 9 and 12. They'll be better than that next season. For
sure. Absolutely. Mate, let's dive into the finals for week 1, and we'll kick things off with the first matchup being Ruthless and LostCES, mate. Do you want to kick us off? We've got game 1 here, 51 to 48. It looks like LostCES took the first one.
Yeah, so as we can see on the screen here, Drop Rain's going for 24 and 7, really leading the way in game 1 with what people would believe would be an upset win in game 1. Dirk Mitty with 18 boards in the win as well. Yo Faraj with 12 and 10 leading the way, and Dennis with 16 and 5. Not really too much else going on elsewhere. A good win to LostCES in game 1. Game 2 saw a bit of a blowout, though, for Ruthless, 62-31. Faraj with a double-double in the win, 13, 16, 3, and a steal. RP from MKD, 19, 1, 1, and 1. Gideon, 17, 1, 4, and 3, did a nice job on his lock. With LostCES, not really much going on there, though. 10 and 18 are Dirk Mitty at the centre position, but they were locked down pretty hard, as we can see. Game 3.
from Fernandez there as well, very quickly, 4 steals, 2 blocks there, so pretty involved on the defensive end.
Yes, sorry, overlooked that. Good pickup, mate. Game 3 saw a much tighter contest with Ruthless coming out on top 49-45, withstanding a last quarter blitz, 21-7 LostCES. They almost nabbed this one. Drop Rains again with 21 and 7 in the loss, really rallied the guys and almost got him home. Faraj with a double-double again, leading his side to the win. Bandito, however, we've sung his praises throughout the first 2 or 3 weeks and even winning a player of the week. He went 8 for 29 in this series with 21 points. For me, that was the big emphasis for Ruthless. Stop Bandito, you win the series, and they've proven this here.
It was 34 to 14 at the half by the looks of things.
Yep.
So they've come back pretty heavy there, LostCES, and only just held on there, Ruthless at the end there. So well done to them.
Yep.
But hey, full credit to LostCES. They didn't go down quietly, did they?
No. And look, they're a young team. They're a good team. They'll stick together. They'll be back next season. They'll be playing finals again.
Mate, let's move on. Team Lockup versus Insurgents in the next series. Looks like a bit of a sweep on our hands here, mate. Take us through.
Yeah, I was expecting this to be a little bit closer in this one, given that Crab Talk and Drago have been playing really nicely as a PG pick and roll tandem. But Team Lockup were far too strong in this one. Game 1 saw Team Lockup win 68-37 with Mitz transferring from his lock roll into the PG and scoring 32 and 13. Milo 13 and 17 and Lee Bump Bray. We haven't heard of him too much lately, with 13 and 10 leading the way. Drago with 17 boards in the loss was good for Insurgents. But as we can see in Game 2, Team Lockup secure a series victory with a 58-37 win. 26 and 8 for Mitz, making the move again, as we said, to PG. Milo with 14 and 13 in the win.
Do we see, did Mitz, I don't know, it'd be interesting to find out, and let us know in the comments if you know, or Mitz yourself, what the reason was behind the move to point guard, because we've seen that at the back end of the series now, haven't we? Oh, sorry, the season.
Yeah, we have.
His last couple of games there.
Yeah. Shout us out on Twitter if anyone knows, but there was a move that we saw on the Discord that a player was removed from Team Lockup and they had to pick up a free agent come finals time and had to get permission from the league to gain a player. So Lee Bump Bray, being the man that has filled in or has made his way into the side, he's done well here, but yeah, I'd be interested to know what exactly has happened here, which has caused a player to be removed.
Yeah, very interesting. Mate, let's move on then. Probably the series of the week? Fair to say.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, for sure.
The Clinic taking on New Era. Let's move into this one, mate.
Yeah, so the Clinic just get this series win 2-1 against New Era. This was a tense series with both teams at different stages looking like they'd take the series win. Probably worthy of a semi-final/finals type atmosphere, given the intensity between the games and the series. So I had one on my Mac and one on my phone, and I was watching both teams, and this was insane. So game one saw New Era sneak this one 47-45 after scores were tied at three-quarter time. I know he only scored 3 points in this game, but Hoppy at PG did a really nice job setting up his teammates in this one with 11 assists. Delaney, or ex-Delaney, with 9 and 18, almost carrying the Clinic to the win. But, I know he only scored 3 points, but I credit this win to Hoppy at PG for New Era.
And also, you've mentioned in the past, based on stats, that most of the time when your point guard gets 10 or more assists, they take the W, don't they?
That's right. 80% of the time, that's right. So as we move into game two, it saw the Clinic win this one 47-39. Now, this is going to be a common theme as we go along. There's no real big scores, so defense has obviously taken over for this part of the 2K. And it was the big men dominating inside with BB McMahon, who is one of the more premier centers in the league, with 17 points and 14 boards, and ex-Delaney with 16 and 17 dueling this one out inside. So it was battle of the bigs with the Clinic bringing this one home. It was their third quarter that sort of broke the game apart a little bit with creating a bit of a sizable buffer, and they're able to keep him at arm's length for the rest of the game. Game three saw this one ebb and flow all game, with the Clinic using a 15-8 run in the last to win game three and the series 38-32. Scores at halftime were 16-15 or 16-15. So defense was definitely the key in this one. Ex-Delaney again in the thick of it with 14 and 13 leading the way for the Clinic.
Cleaning up the boards, isn't he? Big deal. But a lot of steals in this game as well, with 9 plays 7, 16 steals across this game here. So, and look, 38-32 is pretty defense heavy, isn't it? There's not a lot of points on offer. And I think what we're looking at, the fourth quarter for the Clinic was the only quarter that a team scored in double digits. So, pretty low scoring game, but credit to the locks and the anchors and the big men there that did the work.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with the game moving forward in regards to whether they're going to keep it this way and whether they're going to make PGs have to call plays a lot more often, or whether we're playing the pick and roll a lot more. There's definitely a transition period right now as to how the game's played.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I don't think they're going to change too much. I think that, people are just going to have to adjust. There's always a skill gap at the start of every 2K, so I think that's going to happen again. Mate, we've got No Way Out, against SubZero here. 2-0 to No Way Out, mate. Talk us through game one here.
Yeah, so game one saw NWO win this one 64-31 with everyone from NWO doing their bit in the win. So as we can see there, Delay with 22 and 5, Harry with 23 and 3, Kristaps 13 and 11, Baldino 6 and 12, Golden Dunk on the lock, 3 steals. So everyone just doing a little bit there. No one really standing out for SubZero, with Wox 15 and 6 at PG, but shooting 7 for 21. In game two... Oh, sorry, you go.
Before you move on, Mick, I saw a video recently on the NBL Oz Gaming Twitter where I think Harry was talking about his move to Sharp this year, which is why obviously D'Lo's playing point guard here and Harry's playing shooting guard. So it'd be interesting to have a chat with Harry. I know he said he'd be keen to come back on the pod. We might get him back on soon to have a little bit of a chat around the mindset on why he's moving to Sharp this year instead of playing a point guard. So it'd be a good little insight there.
I reckon really good idea, that.
Game two, mate.
Yeah.
64-40.
That's it. So 64-40, much the same for NWO. They jumped out of the blocks this one and were up 18-3 at the end of the first quarter. And they were never really challenged in this one. Harry doing Harry things and just being him during this series, leading the way with 20 points, 2 or 2 from 3-point range. Golden Dunk this one, a little bit more offense, 21, or a lot more offense for him, 21 points and 3 assists. Kristaps 7, 11 and 5 for SubZero. Again, Wox 12 and 7, Huffy inside with 10 boards, but this is to be expected. But I do want to bring up that SubZero were good this season. Like they ran into probably the best team in the ANZPL, and to make finals as their first year altogether, good shit. Keep it up, Huffy and crew.
Absolutely, they've done a great job. It's and also going up against No Way Out in game one of the playoffs or series one of the playoffs is tough. Like you've got to play your best 2K to knock these guys off. So full credit to them.
That's right,
mate. Very quickly, let's give a shout out to Ryan from Astute Newstead. Guys, if you have been looking to either get in the housing or the residential home loan market, you're looking to maybe have a look at your finances and check out whether your interest rate's spot on or not, you can hit Ryan up. He's got access to over 50 lenders as well, so you don't have to go and do the heavy lifting. He'll do it all for you. All you need to do is give him your information. He'll give you a no obligation free consult as well. So he'll look after you at no cost. You just got to give him your info, have a chat about what you're looking for, and he will sort you out. He works with the big banks as well as all of the smaller banks as well. So you don't have to go and negotiate with the banks. He'll do that. And he'll sort you out with a really good rate, and he'll get you into your first home. So you can hit him up on ryanh@eganwealth.com. You can send him an email there, or you can go onto his Instagram. Ryan Astute Newstead is the handle, and just send him a DM and make sure you tell him that Insight Fantasy Sports sent you, and he'll look after you. So thanks to Ryan for supporting the show. Now, mate, Exy aversing God's plan in this one. Thoughts?
Yeah, this was probably the series I was the most pumped to see. Like, given how well both teams had played throughout the season. But Exy, so to speak, flexed their muscle to come away with a series sweep this one 2-0. Game one saw Exy win this one comfortably, 59-36, after scores were tied 21 at halftime. Matty V with a nice 22 piece, which is probably the most I've seen him score in the league for a while, and also 6 steals. So a really nice all-round game for Matty. Game two was much the same, with Exy being up by 1 point at halftime, 22-21. So God's plan have done well to keep it tight for a half. And then both games have just been blown out in the second half. They went on to win 61-33. So from being up by 1 point to winning by 28 points, that's a big change. Dollar with a nice 30 piece in the win. Horsey tried hard with 16 and 23 in the loss. I feel like God's plan, though, they'll be disappointed in this. I'm expecting them to bounce back big time next season.
God's plan started red hot, didn't they? Like, they were the team to beat in the first week. Everyone was talking about them, and then they've had a bit of a dramatic drop off, I guess, in terms of their standards. So we're looking forward to seeing them come back next year. And I think the key here was to keep Flametto nice and quiet. 1 from 13 in the second game. He went 3 from 8 in the first game. They just locked him up. Matty did a really good job on him, clearly. So well done.
Shot attempts weren't the issue, because you look there, 38 scoring attempts or 38 shots for 33 points. And then from the other side of things, 47 shots in that game, or 44 in this one, and 27 makes. So, yeah, the shots are there.
Yep, 100%. Well done to the locks there to keep them quiet. Mate, let's move on to the next one. The Dinosaurs versus Sans Dior. Another pretty big series, I guess, this one, wasn't it? It went 2-1. It went all the way to 3, which is what we love to see.
Yep, love to see it. But game one of this series was probably the most tense back and forth game of 2K that I've ever seen, period. So regardless of finals in the past, and teams might win by 1 point, whatever else, but Sans Dior won this one in triple overtime, 73-69. This game was fucking awesome to watch. Aggro with 18 and 21 in the win. Rangaman with 14 and 12 in the loss did well, setting up his teammates as well. But it was a good all-round game for, both teams really. They both deserved to win, so to speak, given how close it was for such a long period of time. And as we can see there, in the third period, Dinosaurs 12-5 really kept them quiet. Sans Dior have come back from a scoring slump. So, big ups to them.
Well done to the locks as well. Air Champ with 6 steals. Danny DeVito Jr. with 5 steals. So very, even though it wasn't involved heavily offensively, clearly they were doing the job there. I mean, 29-28 in what's that? 14 minutes of play for that final quarter, if you count the triple overtime. So, that's relatively low scoring. You see 29-28, you probably don't think it was a low scoring, part of the game, but it clearly was with triple overtime.
Yeah, that's right. Game two, saw Dinosaurs bounce back for a 50-43 win. Blitzer played really well in the first game and also in this game with 14-14 leading the way for the Dinosaurs. As we can see there, 12 and 15 for aggro, but no one else really doing too much. Danny DeVito Jr. with 4 steals and Champ with 3 steals. Game 3 saw Dinosaurs jump out of the blocks well, going into halftime with a 24-8 lead, and were never really challenged from there on, winning Game 3 by 20 points. Pretty even contribution from the lads at the Dinosaurs in this one.
Yep, good win for them. Nice to kind of, I wouldn't call it a blowout, but a 20-point win is a nice, it's a nice solid win. So it's always nice to take Game 3 in a really convincing one. They'll go into next week with plenty of confidence, I'm sure. Disappointing for SubZero as well. We were talking about them a fair bit at the start of the season, weren't we? And they just had a little bit of a drop off at the back end there. Yeah,
they did. And look, Cody Kong there, 1 for 10. Like, defense is big. He's a good sharp, but hats off to the guys at Dinosaurs in Game 3 there, keeping Dennis Phoenix and Cody Kong to 5 for 27 from the field. Any team's going to struggle if you're playing defense like that.
Spot on. We've got the Phantom. Now, I'm trying to find the logo. Someone try and find the logo for Against All Odds. I couldn't find it in the Discord, so I apologise to those boys. But the Phantom are versing Against All Odds in this one. Take us through this, because we've got a sweep here, don't we?
Yeah, we do. But before we start, I want to give a shout out to Lovey. So for those of you that know Lovey in the ANZPL community, unfortunately, Lovey's lost one of his mates during the week. And yeah, going through a bit of a hard time, I guess, through some trying circumstances. So on behalf of the ANZPL community and us here at Insight Fantasy Sports, Lovey, we're right behind you, buddy. We got you back, mate. So
yeah, very well said.
In this, could Phantom be the Smoky? I really like the way Max runs this team. And with Marshy and Lovey as the lock anchor combo, this is a sneaky nice team. And if Super Freaky gets hot too, because we know he can flat out shoot the ball and score, this team can match it with anyone when they're on. So
can't argue with that.
We see here,
you got Croc there on that team too, don't you? So Ronnie 2K will be watching this game soon, I think.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Croc to at us when he tags everyone else in the universe on his X before his game. So
we're not big enough yet, mate.
Yeah, no, we'll wait till we get 100,000 followers, then he might take notice of us. So game 1 saw Phantom take a 1-point lead into halftime before pulling away in the second half, winning 54-37. The Croc, as we live and breathe, with a double-double in this one, but it was the defense of Phantom in the second half that was the key. So as we can see here, 2 points in the third quarter they kept against All Odds too. That's going to blow the pants off anyone, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't compete with that. 2 points in a quarter. That's solidifying the game there, I think, unless you're going to have a big, shit storm at the end there where you throw it away. It's pretty much your game to lose from that point.
Yep. Game 2 saw much the same, with Phantom taking a 4-point lead into halftime before pulling away in the Premiership quarter. For those of you that don't know what the Premiership quarter is, it's the third quarter. 61-46. Super Freaky getting hot, as we mentioned earlier, going 8 for 9 from the field. And again, it was the D of Phantom in the second half that secured the win in this one.
Two third quarter kind of blowouts, I guess. Like both games there, they've let it slip in the third quarter there against All Odds, and it's kind of cost them the game. Because, they've matched up against them really well in the final quarter. So it's that third quarter. Hey, you said Premiership quarter. It's, no better example than that, is there?
No, it's not. And looks like they may have just stayed in the sheds too long, snacked on one too many oranges, forgot to come out, and they got the jump on them both times. So they'll be back next season.
Yeah, you got to watch those starchy carbs at halftime. They'll get you.
Oh, they'll sit on you.
Goons and Villains, mate. Final matchup of the week, and Goons take this one out.
Yeah, they do. Even though this one was a sweep, it was a tight contest in both games, with both games not being decided until late in the game. The Goons won game 1, 51-47, with B-Sav having 7 steals leading the way for the Goons. Will Movin and Lockeye leading the way defensively, as we can see, or offensively, sorry. As we can see there, Lockeye AEU with 14 and 14 and Will Movin with 21, 2 and 3. For the Villains, you've got Cooper there, 13 and 4. Jono, 2 steals. Allen with 16 and 9. We're used to seeing Jono and Cooper with big steal numbers, though. So the Goons have done well to protect the rock in that one. Game 2 saw the Villains take a 1-point lead into halftime before the Goons held the Villains to 3 points in the last quarter to run over the top of them 37-31. Lockeye, again, a clear standout in this one with 14 points and 21 big boy boards in this one.
Big showing from the big fella.
Yeah.
Hey, is that third quarter again? It seems to be all happening in the third quarter. That looks like a bloody soccer score, 6-4.
Yep. The lads obviously turned, well, could be one of two things. They could have been comparing themselves to the AFLW, or they could have been playing 2K with the screen off. So let us know in the comments. What were you doing, lads? 6-4.
That's the second time the AFLW has got a mention in the last week for the Insight Fantasy Sports podcast. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether we're going to get the support of the AFLW, but that's okay. We'll be right.
That's okay.
That wraps up the series, the 8 series that we've gone through for playoffs in week 1. Now, we want to give the boys at the Standard Squeeze a shout out very quickly. You know, they've got some awesome stuff on their website. You can go to thestandardsqueeze.com and check it all out. They've got hats. We're both wearing ours. They've got little 4-in-1 stubby holder kind of things that basically keeps your beer or your drink cold, whatever your choice of alcohol or even soft drink is. And also your coffee or if you're a tea drinker. Surely there's no tea drinkers in the ANZPL, are there?
Sure.
There wouldn't be. There wouldn't be. So it keeps your coffee nice and warm in the morning. Yeah, keeps it nice and warm in the morning. Beer's cold at night. You can chuck your spirits in it. And Mickey Delta showed on the screen there his little combo pack there where you squeeze. It gives you a perfect squeeze, 30ml squeeze there. If you're driving or whatever and you're going to a mate's place and you want to have a few drinks and you want to make sure that you can still drive, you can track how much you've had. Or if you just want to send it, you can just swig it straight out of the combo pack, so you don't have to worry about that. So you can get 15% off at thestandardsqueeze.com by using the code INSIGHT15. So check that in the coupon code section there, and they'll look after you 15% off anything you want on the website. So go and check them out. Now, Mick, we have next week to look at.
We do.
Now, when we're looking at next week, there's a fair bit going on here. We'll move to what is the playoff tree from the ANZPL. Now, we'll see, obviously, everything's been kind of updated for round 1. But what are we looking at for round 2? Because we've got 4 big matchups here, and there's going to be plenty of good 2K being played here.
Yeah, we do. So, as you can see there, top left in the Western Conference, we've got TeamLockup versus Ruthless. So, battle of the two mainstays of the ANZPL over the last few years. This one could go either way. TeamLockup have not lost yet, with both teams in the top 3 or 4 in the ANZPL when they're on. Ruthless have bounced back really well after starting the season very slowly, whereas TeamLockup, as we've said, have cruised through so far, going undefeated at this stage. My worry for TeamLockup is, have they got a game plan for when they're under the pump? Because they haven't really been pushed yet. So with this in mind, I'm tipping an upset, Ruthless 2-1.
Whew. Spicy. I love how you kick it off with a
spicy.
bit of spice still. Just love that.
Yeah.
No, and that's true. I played in sporting teams where we've been pretty dominant for a long time, and you know, I'm sure you have as well, and you'd know that if you win so comfortably all the time, when you get under the pump and you get put under pressure, you kind of don't really have that fallback plan. So, you know, not that I'm saying that Team Lockup don't, but it'll be interesting to see how they go when they get put under pressure, because there's no doubt through this series. It's a best of 3 still, isn't it? So there's no doubt through this series they're going to be put under the pump at some point. So hopefully we can see them respond and see some good 2K be played.
For sure. And a shout out to Ruthless. They did win the ODC a couple of weeks back too, so they have hit form at the right time.
Yeah, congratulations to those guys. Awesome effort. What do we got next? Dinosaurs and Goons.
Yeah, danger series for the Goons, this one. For me, they're expected to win this one. When talking about players on paper and that sort of thing, I think they've probably got a little bit too much class for the Dinosaurs. But don't count them out. Dinosaurs, you know, when they're on, they've shown they were down and out against Sandsdew and come back to win 2-1 after losing the triple overtime game. But I'm tipping the Goons here 2-1.
Yeah, I think the Dinosaurs are too good to lose a game, lose a match in the series. But yeah, 2-1 would be ideal for every matchup, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Just to keep it nice and close.
That's right. What do we got next?
Yeah, as we can see over in the Eastern Conference, No Way Out versus the Clinic. I believe, I've got to check my facts, but last season the Clinic were the only team to beat the NWO in a final series in NBA2K 23. Or Ruthless may have been the other team, sorry. So there may have only been 2 teams. danger series for NWA because the Clinic do match up pretty well against them, but I'm still expecting them to win this one. It'll be tight, but I'm expecting a 2-0 win to No Way Out.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. And the last matchup, we've got Phantom and Exy. This is going to be another cracker, isn't it?
Yeah, Exy are good, like really good. But I'm going to get spicy. I'm tipping an upset here. Phantom have been playing really nice basketball and are a dark horse this season. No one really speaks about them, and they're beating some really good teams. So I'm going with a 2-1 series win to the Phantom.
So let's see how close you get. We'll review this next week.
Cool.
Can we do the little semi-final wrap-up, and we'll see how close we get with these series predictions. But you know your 2K, so I'll back you in. But, you know, the one thing that's undisputed is that we're going to have 4 amazing matchups, aren't we, over the next week? So make sure for everybody to tune in on Twitch. You know, obviously every game's going to be streamed or every series is going to be streamed. So for those of you even playing in the ANZPL or for those of you that are watching the show aspiring to get into the ANZPL or maybe making a team next year or whatever, these are the series you're going to want to watch. And you're going to want to listen to the communication and listen to just the way that they set up plays, and these teams are the best of the best. So this is where you do your 2K learning, I guess you could say.
100% right. And look, even if you're not a part of the final series, go and link into one of these guys that we've just shown here, or one of these teams. You know, subscribe to them on Twitch. Watch the way they play basketball, because any of these 8 teams could win the whole lot. Well, obviously, because they're here for a reason. But apart from No Way Out, there's no real clear favourite here. And if No Way Out get knocked off, then it's anybody's game. So I highly encourage you to get along. You know, if you've got an hour at night, click on your Twitch, sub to one of these guys, watch the way they go about it, because these guys are the best of the best.
I think, and this is my prediction, the winner of TeamLockup versus Ruthless, take it out. That's the way I see it happening this year.
Spicy.
So let's see.
Good.
One of those 2 guys to take it out this year.
Good.
Mate, that brings us to the end of the episode. Bit of a shorter one because we don't have as many series or as many teams to cover. So, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button as well to help us out. And you can stay up to date by subscribing. You'll see all of our episodes coming up. And maybe you're a fantasy sports kind of person. You love your NBA or your NRL, AFL, NBL, BBL is coming up soon. You know, we've got plenty of stuff coming up at Insight. So give us a sub so you don't miss any future episodes. Mate, any final words?
Yeah, as the Supercoach Brain just brought up, sub up, like us, give us a 5-star rating, because these guys overseas have been tuning into our program to watch you guys play your 2K. You're getting the exposure through our channels. So we're not getting paid for this. We just want to promote you guys, the way that you play basketball or 2K. It's a win-win, guys. So like, subscribe, and let's help us get you out to the great wide world that is NBA2K.
Love it. That'll do us. We'll see you next week for the wrap-up for the semi-finals. Good luck to everybody in there and all those 4 matchups and those 8 teams. Wish you all the best. We'll see you next week. Catch you later.
See ya.